Slow mind, slow brain. I got slow brain, Tom.
Who doesn't? Hey, Brandon, do you want this pen?
Wait, is this Wolf of Wall Street?
No, I didn't say sell me this pen.
Oh.
I said, do you want this pen?
Yes.
Sorry, it's mine.
Well, okay. I'll trade you the spoon for your pen.
Is it used?
Yep. See, it's
Have
dirty.
you washed it?
Yeah, look at that.
What'd you eat with it?
My mush bowl.
What is that?
Yogurt, berries.
Oh, if it's yogurt, then I'm allergic to.
No, it's coconut yogurt.
Oh, okay. So continue then. All right. So coconut yogurt, berries,
Peanut butter, protein.
Oh, wait, was that what you were making on Jess Brain?
Mm-hmm.
So you call it the mush bowl?
She does. I call it lunch. Well, we just lost half our subs.
Oh, baby. We here.
We fair catch you in the right direction.
I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show, otherwise known as On the Streets as G P S. Your tea is done. Nailed it. I thought that was our greatest intro ever.
What's up?
I think that was our greatest cold open ever.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have possibly done better.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Late night TV shows are going to look at that and try to replicate it. Other podcasts are going to try to replicate it, and nobody's going to be able to.
Everybody's talking about the pen spoon trade. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. You go on social media right now, blowing it up. Blowing it up.
Pin spoon trade.
Yep. Pen spoon trade.
I tried to get Kareem Jackson. I tweeted to Kareem Jackson to come on to talk about his suspension because he was on Twitter last night just responding to every hater that was giving him shit for getting suspended. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't come on the show. I would be worried that he'd hit me.
Yeah.
He'd see Packers things, and he's just like, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I
went into hit mode. His suspension got reduced from 4 to 2 games, luckily, after
Let's go.
Unbiased third party was like, whoa, chill, NFL.
Get it.
Ooh, interview.
That's awesome. Hell yeah, let's go. I mean, it's been in every single stream. It's one of two things. Either people have just gotten jobs,
or
they have job interviews, or they have COVID. That's it. It's those two things. So
my new job is getting COVID.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, then I'm doing a terrible job. I still only got it once.
Democracy.
It's because I live in a hole.
Yeah.
During the football season, I don't go out.
We don't go anywhere, guys.
No, that's it. Do I ever celebrate a big win with cheesecake? No, but maybe a big loss. Since I'm allergic to it, might as well.
Yeah,
right?
I can't eat it.
That's my cyanide. That's my cyanide. All right, 3 things. I guess that's 3 things. Okay, I guess. Guess. Johnny Parks 1-6 in fantasy. Oof.
Oh, dude, I'm 0-6 and am I 0-7? Oh, I haven't even checked yet. Oh God. My Patreon fantasy, let's see here. Did I get my first win? Yes! 1-6, baby! Suck it, Team Lebowski. 146. That was my highest scoring team.
Hold on. Now I want to check.
I won all 3. I won all 3 of my Patreon fantasy leagues this week. Thank you, Lamar Jackson, for finally getting good.
Damn, bro! In one of my leagues, I am 6-1.
Woo! Woo! I was embarrassed. I didn't even want to acknowledge I was 0-6 in fantasy. I feel like that's a sin for somebody who watches football all week, talks about football all week, is inundated in the sport, don't want to acknowledge it.
Interesting.
Dude,
did
you see what happened to me in Underdog?
I won again.
You won again?
I didn't want to say anything because I saw you were like, I'm gonna win, but that Purdy interception's making me nervous.
I had all green. I had 3 greens. I won. I had won an Underdog finally. And then I had my LeBron James, my gimme pick, my half a point for LeBron James or whatever.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. So it's TJ Hawkinson, Purdy, and Kittle. I took higher on all of them. Finally, Purdy gets over that number. He goes higher. And Kittle was there. Hawkinson was there. Purdy higher. Literally about to tweet, I finally won my first Underdog pick'em. I was about to fire off that tweet, and he throws a fucking interception. I don't like Brock Purdy anymore. Was rooting for him, rooting for the Underdog, rooting for Mr. Irrelevant. Love the story. Now, fuck that guy. Fuck Brock Purdy. I hope he throws a billion picks because I'm never picking him again, ever. Teasing me like that, Brock. You. Oh.
I got the Texans winning.
And then he got back over. Okay, so he throws the pick, Tom, and then he gets a couple completions. I'm back in the green. I'm like, okay, yes. I was like, okay.
Told you.
Just wait till the game is over. And of course, final drive, throws another pick, back to yellow. Back to yellow. Oh.
Yeah, so anyway, so I did just like so the ones that I won so I did lose one because I had Aaron Jones getting higher on the Broncos with that LeBron one, but that didn't work. But yeah, no, I had DeAndre Swift, and then I had Brock Purdy just throwing more yards. And so I got that. I won $30, and then I won $150 from the night before.
Nice.
So it just sounds like you suck, Brandon.
I do.
No, rock bottom happened this week, losing against the Broncos. Like, especially after the Vikings beat the 49ers. No, like we lose to the Vikings, that's not rock bottom.
No, Vikings are, the Vikings have been a team that was just being let down by their turnovers. Their offense has been, well, not the run game, but Kirk Cousins has been good. They've been in a lot of these games.
They were not good about it against the Bears. Like, they literally, oh my God, that's...
Look at that. I won. Just kidding. You lost. I won. Nope. I lost.
Oh my God. And it's less than like 0.5.
Yeah, it's a half a point. It's a completion, 2 picks.
You know what? Because we haven't been together for like, what did you think about that Monday night game? Because dude, like that was wild. It was like you saw a completely different Vikings team and a different 49ers team. And the 49ers, the secondary you knew was problematic. Like it had some holes in it. That's probably the weak point of that defense.
Sure.
I'm not like terribly surprised there. I'm more surprised that the pass rush couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's not, I just wrote here. Let me, because I'm trying to finish writing my power rankings. And then this is what I wrote for the end of the 49ers here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd like to point out that the 49ers are 0-36 when trailing by 8 or more points in the fourth quarter under Kyle Shanahan. That's mildly concerning. Will actually wrote that line. And then I followed it with, where the fuck is Nick Bosa when you need a play? Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Bosa ain't even on their level right now. Like, where was he? Like that, you pay that guy all that money, and he can't get to Kirk Cousins in the clutch moments. Like, we've been talking about how Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are basically keeping the Steelers and the Browns in games single-handedly.
Yes.
And Bosa, he was a little baby whiner holding out, a little whiny baby holding out for all the money. And when you ask for all the money, you better come in and make an immediate impact, because if you don't, everybody's going to be like, you overpaid. You are overpaid. just like his brother. As soon as he got paid, does anybody even talk about Joey Bosa anymore? No. So
Nick Bosa is going to come to your house.
good. I will instantly cower and apologize to him. I'm no Grant Cohen begging to be punched so I can sue 49ers. That ain't me. I'll be like, Nick, I didn't say any of those things at all. I did not say those things. That was not me.
It was
AI. I love you. I am sorry. Please do not hurt me. And then Joey comes from behind him. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Also, Joey, I apologize. You both are very talented players. I know football is hard. There's nuance there. There's a lot of things I don't understand about how your production works. I get it. And they'll be like, okay, we accept your apology. I shut the door and lock it, and I go, fuck you, idiots! And then I run away. And I call the police, and I say, there are 2 men threatening me outside my house. And then they go to jail forever. And I just saved the 49ers a lot of money. And the Chargers are like, well, we were going to probably get rid of Joey anyway. So whatever.
Is that how that whole story ends?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And then I make a cup of coffee and
Hold on, what kind of coffee?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of bench warmer brew.
I needed that whole story to just be for an
a long plug.
It's the longest plug in the
no,
history.
But like, my point was he needed you needed him to do something. Get an extra turnover for San Francisco. You know what's weird about that game? The opening series for both teams, Cousins got picked, right? And then McCaffrey fumbled in the red zone. Like,
yep.
You don't see McCaffrey fumble that much.
No.
Those are, that 49ers fumble there, that basically cost him the game. There's no field goal. There's no points there. And, probably could have had it. But, Purdy is just, it was just 2 bad throws late in the game. Yeah. It kind of happens with quarterbacks sometimes. People are probably freaking out like, oh, he sucks now. I think in my winners and losers, like this is going to be a rough week for Purdy fans because they're going to get all of the told you he was under or overrated, told you he's not very good.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that this Sunday is like going to be a challenge for them because the 49ers are playing the Bengals. And the Bengals coming off a bye, they're back at 500. And if they're able to torch, I really think it is. And someone mentioned this, like in a super, I think like right before the game on Monday night, it was like, hey, it's all right, Kevin, you're fine. You're fine. If you neutralize that pass rush, then like you're going to have more success against the 49ers defense, which makes sense, right? Because their secondary is open. The thing is, like, not a lot of teams have been able to do that because neutralizing their pass rush has been very, very difficult. And, like, the 49ers dealing with injuries and stuff, but that's more on why I'm like, all right, maybe you give, like, the offense a little bit of a pass. But the defense, I was like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Here, the other issue I have with the 49ers is, okay, so Debo Samuel's not playing in that game, right? So they're
and Trent Williams. Yeah.
That's fine. But
definitely more parity this year in the NFL.
Debo's out. All right. McCaffrey playing through an injury, and he still looked, pretty McCaffrey-like. Why does Kyle Shanahan not scheme to George Kittle in these situations? Like George Kittle had like a decent night, but I feel like in those situations, and I obviously again, back to me apologizing to Nick Bosa. I don't know how everything works.
That'd be interesting.
But like Kittle should have like 12 receptions in this game. And I don't know. I feel like with Debo out, he is your next best playmaker. You see it with Mahomes and Kelsey when things are not going well, you just find Kelsey. And I think you got to do the same thing with George Kittle. I want another 1,300-yard season from George Kittle. And Kittle is basically like dead as a fantasy tight end until Brock Purdy took over last year and got him more involved in the offense again. And I just think they need to lean on some of those guys in those situations
Well, I mean,
versus, Purdy's trying to throw it down the middle of the field late and just misreads a couple coverages there. And one's a bad throw and the other is just like, well, what throw?
I think that Kittle is just like a really good blocking and receiving tight end. But like I think like he's really you can't even say he's underrated at this point, but he's just a really good blocking tight end. And Kelsey legitimately I think is just a better receiver route runner than Kittle. But on top of that, I think if you have Debo in that game, maybe that kind of stuff happens. Because the people the receivers who did have good games, like Ayuk got like target a lot, like Juwan Jennings, like he was kind of like their guy that they went to in tight spots. It was just weird because you saw the potential and what you've seen in previous weeks with that 49ers offense when they went down in 3 plays and just scored. Like they just went down, like it was a really good block and CMC like just went down the right sideline and was able to score. So like it's there. It's just okay, if they're not fully healthy, are you going to see performances like this? And like, I think there's a little bit to be concerned about. I'm just like, damn, is that secondary really that bad? Because like, they didn't even have Justin Jefferson.
No, but I mean, there's issues there. But I think Kirk Cousins is good at just knowing where the open receiver is going to be.
Sure.
And Vikings just find really good receivers in the draft. Jefferson was the 5th receiver taken. Addison was the 4th. Just like,
yeah. Trust me, I know. I knew he was going to be good too.
And Kirk's going to be good. Kirk just finds him. He's just like, oh yeah, open there, boom.
That's a big win though. That is a big win. Oh, I think the Texans are winning on Sunday.
Yeah. No, one thing I was tweeting when watching that, or I tweeted about, is why are people who watch a lot of football, why are they surprised that Kirk Cousins is playing well? I felt like I saw a lot of guys like, dude, Kirk Cousins is having a game. Didn't expect this from Kirk Cousins. Like he plays very well a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. The start of the season, he was like really good. Like he was throwing for like over 300 yards.
Yeah,
what was that?
But he does that every year. He has like a handful of 300-yard games.
Yeah.
Touchdown to interception ratio is great. Do you think it's partially just because early he had that like primetime playing like crap narrative? And a lot of people are only able to kind of like watch a full game in prime time. And then you see one game from a team that season. You're just like, that's kind of who they are. Because to me, I'm always like, Kirk Cousins is a quarterback I would like to have. Outside of the fact that you risk, him getting arrested for being a serial killer every week, he's pretty good at being a quarterback. He's not the best quarterback, but he's consistent. He does enough. It just seems like the last couple of years, the Vikings defense has been the real issue. This year it's been turnovers and no run game.
Yes. And what's funny is like, because he struggled against, what was it, the Panthers? He didn't do well, 139 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. And then like Bears game was really not good. The defense won them that game. And then he just showed up and he played really, I think it's the primetime narrative.
Yeah. Do you think I think he kind of underperforms when he plays against really good defenses.
15%, I say.
Yeah.
15%.
But
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's going to be, someone mentioned that super before, like if the Vikings go on a run, which by the way, they could, because their schedule is not too bad. Like it's not too difficult. And we all know the NFC North is a total crap show right now. So they could wind up competing with the Lions. If they are able to go on a run, they get Justin Jefferson back, and Addison is kind of developed in his absence as like, hey, like this is a reliable guy that I can throw to, then just saying. So I do want to talk about the refs a lot, but you did mention Kirk Cousins getting arrested for being a serial killer.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I know like there's stuff with like Justin Ross that's going on. Did you see the clip from Chris Olave being arrested?
Yeah.
So
what's going on with Justin Ross? I don't know.
So apparently there's a lot. Apparently there was, I think, criminal damage, but then apparently dragged someone through a house. Like I got like random details about that. Doesn't look good, so I haven't like said anything because I don't know all the details yet. I was talking about the Olave one because, in case you don't know, so Chris Olave was speeding. He was doing 35 miles an hour over the speed limit. He's getting arrested. And Olave it was from the camera. Olave turns to him and goes, "I play for the Saints, man." And there's like this little pause, and then the cop goes, "And?" Like, it was the delivery. I was like, "All right, well done." Like, that was just a comedic timing. It was
no, it was funny.
It's like, "Do you know who I am?" kind of vibes, and the cop was like, I don't care.
I don't.
Dude, like, for the Saints, their offense is already not good. And now, like, their best receiver it's just like, it's not good. It's just not good. So, he'll play this week, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, you don't need this. You don't need this.
Mixed. Okay, let's see here. It wasn't a DUI, right?
I just thought it was speeding like 35 miles an hour.
Yeah. And so is that an arrestable offense in Louisiana?
You go fast, and I mean, that's arrestable like here too. Like, you go fast enough, like over the speed limit, they can use their jurisdiction and arrest you. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, bad drivers. This boomer really hates bad drivers.
He does. Oh my God.
One of my biggest pet peeves.
If there's anything that he complains more about than, teenagers hanging out in the park, it's
anytime somebody makes a traffic offense, I look over to Jess, I take my eyes off the road, and I say that person should be in jail. If you do something dumb while driving, you should go to jail for one night at least. That's my stance.
So what do you
that
consider
said,
dumb?
I think it's a little egregious to arrest Chris Olave in that situation. Like,
it was 75 and a 35.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. But actually, a boomer can parallel park better than anyone. Just not when he's in a big truck that he's not used to driving.
See, the best part is I didn't even say anything. It wasn't even me. That was Johnny who was like, I was there. Because when Brandon drove us to
I'm going to give Johnny a 50 fucking minute video ASAP. It's just going to be me talking. There's going to be no notes, and you're going to have to find footage to cover up the whole damn thing, Johnny. One bad parallel park outside Broncos Stadium.
The best part is 20 miles over reckless. The best part is that I cut that from 30 and 30. Like, I didn't show that because I think I literally turned the camera on when you were just like, one shot, did it, parked, nailed it. I was laughing.
That's funny. That should be a short you put on clips. Me not parallel parking.
Do you know how much footage I have? I have so much footage that Johnny and I are gonna put together. Dude, it was amazing. Amazing. All right. I do want to talk about the refs because like there is a lot to talk about here. And it's really interesting because like Jim Irsay might be I feel like he's
from crucifying him to he's my savior, baby. Come save us, Jim Irsay.
I feel like Jim Irsay, now that Dan Snyder is like out, and he's off doing whatever the hell he's doing that I'll never care about him ever again. I think it's really interesting that Jim Irsay just can get on Twitter and just be like, I'm just gonna like blow the league up. Why not? And just like send a tweet. Because if you're not aware of what's going on, Jim Irsay last night sent out a tweet. And the first half is completely and totally normal, whatever. He talks about Anthony Richardson and how it was a successful surgery. And that's really, really great. That's wonderful. And then there's a second part to his tweet, which is like a full paragraph. And if you just like look at it, it's not like that big of a deal. Like in terms of just like, oh yeah, because you talked about the Colts getting screwed because they were screwed against the Browns. It was really bad calls. But he says the NFL admits and understands that they did not make the correct calls at the end of Sunday's Colts-Browns game. I believe we need to institute instant replay for all calls, including penalties in the last 2 minutes of all games.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, you want to explain why this is a problem? Like, for the league?
Yes. First of all, I would like Jim Irsay to give me credit when he steals my ideas. That's the first thing. I said this, I believe it was after the first Kareem Jackson hit, the one that was on Jacoby Myers. The Broncos
Played well on
he got
Sunday.
flagged there. And when you look at the replay, it was just more of like an unfortunate thing that happened because Jacoby Myers kind of slid down into this tackle. And so, like, any sort of, if it's like a roughing the passer, any of those penalties, I was like, in the last I said the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, those plays should be reviewed because they can have significant outcomes on the game. So everybody knows I said it first. Second thing, and I'm a little credit whore. I am a credit whore. This is an issue because if the NFL calls the owner of a team or a GM or whoever, if the NFL calls to say, look, we reviewed the calls that were made, the officiating crew, and we believe we made a mistake there, that happens. That happens from time to time throughout the season.
Damn.
If they call you and tell you they messed up, the unwritten rule, like the mafia, is you do not publicly say that the NFL admitted that they made a mistake.
Yes.
It's like, in the mafia, you don't sleep with the other mafia's wives. You don't snitch. And back in the day, you don't sell drugs.
You don't
okay?
sleep with the other mafia's wives. What?
Those are the
God's
rules.
name? What is that sentence, Brandon?
You don't sleep with other mafia men. You don't sleep with made guys' wives. You don't sleep with made guys' wives.
Did you watch like a Scorsese film recently? Is this what?
No, I'm watching Gotti. Okay, I'm watching the Gotti documentary. That's what I'm watching.
See the best. This is why I will always love Brandon Perna, because you can see what he's been watching based off of what he comes out with for GPS.
So you can pull a reference or a quote from a movie you saw 12 years ago.
Yes.
I can reference something I watched 12 minutes ago. Then it's gone.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like there's a window. I'm like, oh, he must be watching like a Scorsese film or a documentary.
No, watching the Gotti one, it's pretty good.
That's true.
But yeah, so
over under.
That's a big no-no. And Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network today said that something will happen to Jim Irsay because of this.
You don't have, that's rule number one.
Don't eat the gabagool. Hey, you stay away. You touch my gabagool, you get
I'll have a side salad. Comes on top, I send it back. I send it back.
I send it back.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. We this is why I love this show, because we were talking about the refs. So Irsay basically put out a tweet saying the NFL admitted to messing up. NFL team officials cannot talk about that kind of stuff.
No,
they're not allowed to. That's what Brad is making those mafia references. So now it's interesting because it's not just an NFL team official.
It's the owner.
It's the owner of the team. And like Irsay has proven that he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and like I'm just gonna just tweet out stuff. So now it's like, okay, if they did admit it messing up, and Mitchell brought up a good point, right? Like okay, that's great. That's like saying, oh yeah, we messed up. Okay, what does that do for me now? Like, what are you going to do to fix it? One. And then two, the fact that an owner tweeted this out, what is the punishment going to be? Because the NFL, like, they could be a little crapolas right now, and they could be like, hey, like, maybe we'll go after draft picks.
Yeah.
Like, they could be that organization.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how they're going to punish an owner, which I think would only make Jim Irsay tweet more.
Yeah. As Tree would say, it's the wheel of punishment, right? You just spin it, and they land on some random punishment for him. The problem is, though, the NFL has made zero attempts to actually improve officiating. They have all of these resources to make it better, to get calls right. And every offseason, they're like, no, how can we make it harder for Kareem Jackson to tackle guys during games? That's the problem. They focus on all this minutia instead of being like, let's just put our resources into having the best officiating outcomes in any sport. We have the money to do it. It would make the game better. I think they like people complaining about it, honestly. I think they like the controversy. It keeps people engaged. But, like,
Well, at points though, right? Because like the end of the Super Bowl fell flat. By the way, you got to give Love a full season at least. But like you'll have the biggest game where it's such a spectacle and then it ends on a holding call and nobody's happy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, all right, well that's deflating. Like that's disappointing. Like you haven't watched that Kelsey doc, right?
No.
So I think I told you I watched it last week. And the way that they cut that Super Bowl together, it was a good Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. Like it was a very competitive Super Bowl, but it was like, damn, like this is so crazy. And then it ends on a penalty. And even in the documentary, when they're like making it look better, it still falls flat. And so I agree with you of like, oh, maybe it's that controversy element. Like maybe that's a little part of it. But one, until it drives people away to not watch anymore, nothing's going to happen. But two, it's like you said, and that's the most frustrating thing, it's fixable.
Yeah.
It is fixable. And like, I want to know what you think about those, like that last 2 minutes. I know you said the 5-minute thing. I think that might be a little much. But like 2 minutes, just like all calls that are not, I mean, like a false start, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think if
it's
a subjective call that results in an automatic first down, should be reviewed. Roughing the passer, hard hits, the defensive pass interference, or defensive holding. Yeah, I saw that, and I disagree with Gene. I think his first instinct was correct.
So when I said it, so when I was like, yeah, no, like that's not a thing of having the both feet down. That's not a thing.
No, he didn't just make it up. He got told by the NFL to retract.
Oh,
I'm sure. His first instinct was correct. You guys still lost, so it's actually doesn't matter.
Shut up, Brandon.
You guys still lost.
I watched your intro to that video, and I was like, I hate everything about this. I hate everything about this so much.
I had a lot of Packers fans enjoy that one, and that was the point. So, welcome to hell, guys.
And you're wearing Carmi's cheesehead?
Yeah.
That's not what it was made for. That's not what I sent it to your house for. You used it against me.
I did use it. I didn't. I mean, that was a 50-50. But
Never saw it.
Yeah, it's like you don't want those calls to change the outcome of the game. Yeah. And the Browns-Colts game is the best example of it completely dictating the outcome of a game that the Colts should have won. And that's the thing. The NFL can't fix it, right? They can't go, oh, we got this completely wrong. Here's a win for the Colts and the Browns. You take a loss. Like, they don't do that. They can't do that.
Yes. So, well, I mean, so it's so funny that you popped in here, inject, because if there was a play, right, that like exemplified, like, hey, this needed to get changed, it would not be this one. It would be the Fail Mary, because that one was the worst call in NFL history. And that should have never done it. And we got rid of the replacement refs. You're welcome, everybody. And we were not fairly compensated for that. The Rams Saints one, I saw nothing. I saw absolutely nothing. I saw nothing. I just saw two guys hugging it out. That was all. And then one hit one a little bit harder than the other. But that was it. So, and yes, I do agree about it. Oh, flopping? Well, they've thrown flags for flopping before. They've done it. I remember. I don't know if they because
that should be reviewable too. That should also be reviewable. I agree.
Yeah.
And Mike McDaniel had to send his thoughts in to the NFL about all of the calls that were wrong or missed in that Eagles-Dolphins game. So that was another one. 10 flags for Philly, 0 for Miami. That ain't correct. I don't care what football world you live in. No team is that unless, okay, if it was the Raiders, if the Raiders were penalized 10 times and the opponent 0, understandable.
See, but I actually disagree with that, because I don't care if the number's 10. I don't care if the number's 15. Like, I don't care what the number is, because a lot of them are also like false starts, right? So I don't care about that. My thing is that it's what Kevin is saying. It's what you and I have been preaching for years. And it's it's just consistency.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're going to call that holding call, well, then you have to call that one. If you're going to call that one.
And there's a face mask in that game. James Bradbury grabbed the Dolphins face mask. Wasn't called. And now, to be like specific, I don't think the NFL should have like extra eyeballs signaling down when a penalty should be called, right?
Sure.
Like the missed face mask one, you can live with that because it was so quick. It actually, in my opinion, shouldn't be called because the point of the rule for a face mask is to prevent injury, right? It's to prevent you from injuring another player by grabbing their face mask. And that play, his hand got on it for a second. He didn't rip his head. Like, no harm, no foul, right? That's where that comes from. And it should be that. But
Ravens against the Patriots. I remember that.
It's just the end of the games. Have a little more accountability. And the worst part about that Saints thing, when they reinstalled, we said, okay, we'll try reviewing pass interference. They didn't try. They just did it to appease whoever, and they didn't make it a real effort.
Mm-hmm.
That was the issue. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't want it, and they said, let's not reverse any of our mistakes. That's basically what happened that season.
So here's the thing, right? Because that's the argument. Because coaches were able to challenge pass interference a few years ago. We just talked about this. And it slowed the game down. And as Perna said, it never changed the calls. It was very rare that they changed. And that's the thing. We're talking about the final 2 minutes of the game. Final 2 minutes of the game. That's what we do, because that at least is going to reduce the amount of it. But I still just don't know why. And again, this is something that's been brought up a million times. Why they can't. New York, good? Okay, cool. Yup, it's roughing the passer. Because it's that quick.
It is.
There is, folks, in the LA headquarters, right, for the NFL, there are chairs that are set up in front of a whole bunch of TVs. And people's jobs are to watch the games and to just be like, okay, this big play happened here, 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 just so it gives the editors a little bit of extra room of this is what we're going to cut out for the highlights, this is what we're going to do for this, right?
Yeah.
If they can dedicate the resources and manpower for people to sit in front of a TV and just watch football and just be like, here you go, here's some notes so they can make highlight packages easier, they can do it for refereeing and officiating and be like, here we go. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's roughing the passer. Cool.
You know how I know it's a problem is I sold out of the fuck the refs blend of coffee faster than I've never sold out of any coffee, Tom, ever. That gone off the shelves. People get infuriated by it. And it's because we have better visuals than the officials on the field do. And to be fair to the refs on the field, a lot of those plays are tough to make judgment calls in real time. I'm not asking officials to be better about like a Kareem Jackson hit. When it happens that fast, it can look a lot worse than it really is.
Sure.
And they need to be given the benefit that all of us watching have, that the announcers have, that the booth official, who every time I feel like the broadcast official comes on, he's just coming on and telling us why the ground crew screwed up the call. I'm like, is his job just to make all of us angry? Even if he's wrong, like Gene Steratore was in the Packers game or whatever, they need that same benefit that all of us watching have. And it can be very easy because we've seen it executed very well in the XFL and the USFL. Yeah. And they're just like, you know what? They're doing a lot of cool things over there, but ain't for us.
But what someone was saying too, and the level, so Jim Irsay not allowed to say hey, the NFL admitted that they messed up. There is such a lack of transparency that does exist in the XFL, right? You are in the booth, seeing what the refs saw, and you're hearing all this stuff. Because there's such a lack of transparency, that's why people come in and are like, yeah, the NFL's rigged. Because it's oh, well, they're just the shadow refs are making their little decisions, right, based off the game. We don't know because we're just watching at home. You have guys like Gene Steratore who's coming out and saying hey, I don't agree with this. I think that this is this. And when you're getting fed all that information and the opposite is called, you're like, well, wait a minute. That's BS. Because you, like you said, you have the announcers telling you something completely different. You might have an old TV ref who's telling you something different too, right? And then the player reaction, crowd reaction. And then the ref says something that goes against all that. The number one thing is be like, oh, well, that's a BS call, especially if it's for your team.
Yeah.
So that's how this gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
You got a Fitty.
Trav, this is for you, buddy.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
It's called the Danger Witch. It's dangerously good.
Seems fair. That seems fair.
So yeah, it's just nobody wants, even when even when it benefits your team, I think real fans don't want to see a wrong call be the reason they won.
Yes.
Like, you'll
Nobody
take it in the
does.
grand scheme of things, but
Mhm.
nobody wants to win that way, except for the Chiefs and their stupid fans.
Well, so
They
this
love
is
it. They won't even acknowledge that they got the refs. I told you, Chiefs fans, embrace it. It is a superpower. Tom Brady exploited it for decades, and you got it right now.
just gotta
Be
lean
like,
into it.
hi, you're going to have to beat us and the refs. We got the best quarterback, the best tight end, and the officials. Claim it, own it, love it, live it, dream it.
So that's the thing. That's something that's starting to come up more about like full-time refs, right? And
Yeah.
I don't even know if that fixes it, to be completely honest, because I feel like where this needs to come down is the league. Like the league has the power to be like, hey, this is the right call. This isn't. And the problem is you could have that human element, right? And like, that's okay. Because as we talked about in the last episode, everybody is cheating on every single down. Every player says it. Everyone's going to try to hold. Everyone's going to try to like do a little PI. Everyone's going to try to get away with it. And based off of the officiating crew that you have, you can get away with more things or not.
Yeah.
So the consistency element is going to have to be accountability. And that has to come from the league. And the league has to say, okay, like, we're going to step in, like, and say, hey, here you go, like an administrator to a teacher, and say, listen, you have to do this, 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 and this until things get better. And then if things go problematic again, the league has to step in again. I think that there has to almost be that level of hand holding because there's a lack of transparency. The calls have been really, really bad. And if you want to like shy away from this, NFL is rigged with all like these sports betting things that are starting to come up. It's on every single commercial. It's sponsoring every single show. Then at the minimum, in my opinion, that you have to do to maintain the trust of your viewing audience is by stepping in and being like, okay, we need to make sure that the calls are consistent. Because otherwise,
it's
can be a problem.
And Goodell addressed this after last season, and he's like, "Yeah, we don't have any officiating problems. In fact, officiating is better than it's ever been." It's like we have to give the NFL permission to say, "Okay, we can get better at this." You know what I mean? Like they will not, for whatever reason, admit that this can be better. Now everything they do, it's like in the name of safety. They just hide behind in the name of safety. We're going to do this and that. And it's like, at this point, we got to say, you know what? Better officiating would make the game safer. And they would be like, in the name of safety, we're going to make officiating better. Nick? Why don't you talk about how much money I have not won on Underdog Fantasy? Sponsor today's show. Make sure you use code GPS when you sign up over at Underdog. We got a link in the description. We got a QR code.
They do that.
Well, I would love refs to answer for their
but
bullshit
they do that
calls.
To the pool because they are asked about calls after the game, and you always can find the transcript.
Now, I want a live stream of that shit. I want red zone for refs answering their mistakes. And hopefully you don't make any mistakes when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy with our code GPS. They're going to match your first deposit up to $500. I mentioned it earlier in the show. I was tricked into thinking I won my first pick'em. I didn't.
Progress.
And you know, I was thinking about, I was going to have Kurt. I wanted to get Ben Kurt on here.
Yeah.
Because he's just fucking bragging about all the wins he has on his things, but he's with a different one. So I don't think I could get him to come on here and help me win one if he's so smart with all of his winnings. I have no hope, is what I'm saying. But he's won a handful. Again, look what I do. And just figure out where I made my mistakes. Do the opposite of that. I am a guide to help you win on Underdog. Just do the opposite. Do the opposite. So close. I was there, Tom. The pick'em games are so fun, too. They're so easy. It's just like, here's a fantasy total, a stat total. Do you think the guy's going to do more or less? And technically, Purdy did more. Threw it away. Least favorite quarterback? If I did a quarterback power rankings, Purdy would be dead last.
Are the
Injured
49ers going to
Deshaun
be in
Watson.
hell now?
Yep.
Because they have...
Worse.
It's subjective. It's just subjective. That's it. You have to.
There
lean
you go,
into it.
Timothy.
That's what the Packers is. Like, at 100%. I did a whole video like 2 years ago about the different tiers that you could buy the refs.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, and the Chiefs, they've got
talk about the trade.
great historical evidence of the refs screwing them in the AFC Championship game. Remember when old Tom Brady was tapped on the shoulder pad and they threw roughing?
Yeah.
Chiefs fans got it bad in that game. So embrace it. Man, if I had the refs on my side, oh my God. I would be... Every shirt I wear would be zebra striped.
See, but that one's... We talked about this too. The illegal contact one, you couldn't justify that one. That one was really, really bad. Like, that one was really, really bad. You know what? I'm so happy to hear that I know nothing about that. I know nothing about it.
Oh, you didn't see this, Tom?
Nope. And I am so... Brandon, my life... It's not remarkably better because I really invested so little time and energy into Antonio Brown, like, when it was going on. But now I'm just like...
Let's see here.
That is
Oh, yeah, he definitely did not delete it. Okay.
I did not.
Here we go.
Evil Spider-Man now.
Antonio Brown comes out as officially against child support. Imagine if Phillip Rivers tweeted that. Phillip Rivers and his wife got divorced, and then that was the first thing Phillip Rivers tweeted.
I'm just surprised that they're not starring in like a remake of Cheaper by the Dozen, but that's neither here nor there.
Antonio Brown is lucky that I don't have time to do a video about him right now.
I know about.
I got Bronco recap. I got winner loser. I got power rankings. By the time I get to a window where I could make a video about AB,
AP,
but
is it AP Gov? Ugh.
Yeah, AP class.
AP Gov is difficult. AP Gov is difficult.
Actually, AP Gov was the only class I was really good at of my AP classes.
Really? Did you pass the AP exam?
For English, no. And I took 4 years of AP English. I had to take that thing twice, and I didn't pass
either
it.
Time?
You know I passed the writing part, the grammatical part. Not even close, Tom. Only fucking reason I took AP English was so I didn't have to take it in college, because I was like, I hate English, hate this. Guess what? Had to take it in college.
Yep.
But I was at an art school. It was way easier. Like, yeah, don't worry, just show up. AP Gov, A+.
So what'd you get on the AP Gov exam?
Don't remember. It was good. I did good. Didn't have to do any more history or government or whatever in college.
I agree, Seth. It's also
got out of math too somehow, but
consistency. Gotta be consistency though. It does. It does.
There are a couple other things I did want to talk about today. One is Will Levis starting. Just saw that in the chat. Will Levis getting the start for the Titans. And the Titans.
That would be pretty good.
The Titans are actually doing what we thought the Broncos might be doing in stripping it down. They're stripping it down. They're going to rebuild for the future. So finally, they're going to start Will Levis. Great. I guess Malik Willis might play as well a little bit. Okay. They traded away Kevin Byard. That's a big trade. That's a huge get for the Eagles. And I put in the rundown, I remembered why Deion Sanders blocked me on Twitter. So Deion is the savior of Colorado. Everybody loves Deion. I am blocked by Deion on Twitter. And I couldn't remember what I said. It was defending Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard is the reason I'm blocked by Deion Sanders.
Oh, Jesus.
Because if you don't recall, when Deion Sanders had a job at the NFL Network, he famously didn't know who Kevin Byard was.
Yes.
He said some disparaging shit about Byard, even though Byard was one of the best safeties in the league.
All pro,
he plays defensive back, the same positional group as Deion, and he had no clue who Kevin Byard was. And I remember going to Twitter, Probably said some stuff I shouldn't have said to Deion Sanders for not knowing who Kevin Byard was. It was like a beer fest, when they have to like drink themselves back into memory.
Yeah.
That the Byard trade was what set it off for me. I was like,
amazing.
oh, that's why.
That's
so the
amazing.
Eagles, Howie Roseman, just gets another great piece
Yep.
for their defense. And I like if you're an Eagles fan, you just every year, if your team is close, Roseman's going to make a move before the trade deadline to make your team better. It's like that.
You know what the thing is too, is like not only are they like really good trades because they got Byard for like next to nothing. Like it was a really good trade for the Eagles. It shows up their
5th
secondary.
and 6th for Edmonds, right?
Absolutely. Like I think that's a really good trade for them.
I am not Justin.
But that is one of the reasons why Howie is so beloved in Philadelphia, because he goes out and makes moves.
Yeah.
Now, listen, it's a lot of them are splashy, and if they don't win a Super Bowl, in the next like few years, like I'm sure there's gonna be problems. But at the same time, like you can't blame him right now, doing everything he can, and it's like really insanely good deals. I mean, hell, you have Sirianni come out and be like, "Thank you so much for the $100 million, like to pay."
Yeah, for AJ Brown.
It just seems like there are, even when the Eagles are struggling, whatever. Howie is like their guy. Like he's bought some good grace with fans for a very, very long time.
Eagles need to win a Super Bowl just for the sake of Titans fans too. Like that's kind of their Super Bowl as well.
Is it though?
AJ Brown, Kevin Byard comes in. If they win a Super Bowl with those two guys, if AJ Brown is like Super Bowl MVP, or even crazier, Kevin Byard is, that's a Titan Super Bowl too. That's a Titan Super Bowl.
They'll shave off a piece of the Lombardi for him.
That's right. Yeah, here's some silver shavings for you.
And that's what they sent to Detroit after Stafford won. So that's here you go. Have a nice day. The Titans, do you think like the big sell-off is coming now? Like now? We're in now.
We're in now.
When will then be now? Soon. But do you think the big sell-off is coming? For
the Titans? Maybe. Henry's available. DeAndre Hopkins is available. I think they might make one more. Was this my video, Dirt? Was this one of our videos? Because YouTube is making changes there. So
YouTube.
We might have less control over where ads are in our videos.
So I actually have to go in now during the streams. Like, and you have to actually manually change it and say that you'll insert the ads, and I just never do during streams. Because if you don't, they just start popping up during live streams now. So I literally take no ads during live streams. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. But yeah, no, they've gotten significant. Like there's a lot more ads now. A lot. Because they're trying to push like YouTube Premium and stuff.
Some YouTubers put a bunch of ads in because they know YouTube won't play every single one. It's kind of based on your viewing habits. Like that's how smart it is. I usually have them off. And then I'll put in one depending on like what the video is. But I was just curious. Anyway, Titans they're gonna fire Sale. He might have did that too. And Champ Bailey was a better corner. Was he a better overall football player? No, not necessarily. But pure corner, I would take Champ Bailey over Deion every time. Because Champ Bailey could tackle.
That's true. Oof.
Deion Sanders, not the best tackler. Returner, dynamic, yeah. Better athlete, argue.
He's going to block you again. He's going to unblock you just so he blocks
His
you
kids
again.
are going to block me.
His kids
Champ Bailey's the best corner, I think, in NFL history.
I don't doubt that you believe that.
No, go back and watch what he could do.
How do you remember?
I got to rewatch it. He's one of the best tackling corners you'll ever see. Best coverage corners you'll ever see.
Berta, I can't with you.
No, Champ Bailey's better than Deion Sanders as a corner.
How do you remember? I have to rewatch it.
I remember Champ Bailey flying in from the corner, stopping the run, tackles for losses, quarterback's just not throwing to his side of the field, a 10 or 11 pick season. Dude, he will never get the credit he deserves. He's better than Revis. He's better than Deion Sanders as a pure corner. And I would put Bailey, Revis, then Deion as a pure corner. Deion would return punts. you get those, those picks. Why did Dion get more picks? Because QBs would continue to test him. Revis and Bailey, they just would not throw to their side of the field. So, anyway.
Titans were like given a little hope with the DeAndre Hopkins acquisition, and then it's just like been gone.
Dude,
oh, that's not fun.
I said Revis and Bailey are a better comp for pure corners than Dion in there. No, he wasn't. And Woodson, great. Woodson transitioned to safety. What Woodson did to extend his career is nuts.
It's wild, dude.
And I would take Woodson over Dion as well.
I love the smirk.
If I'm redrafting.
You're just like, you know what? I would.
Give me Revis, give me Bailey, give me Woodson as my corner safety floater.
I wonder if Witherspoon's going to wind up being better than Champ Bailey. No.
That would sting. Dude, my Seahawks for the power rankings is just like a Devin Witherspoon paragraph. I'm just like, God, every week.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so effing good. And again, we talk about like two of the toughest positions to transition from college to the pros is tight end. The other is corner.
Yeah.
Like how many Jeff Okuda, like how many corners have we seen taken and they just do not live up to expectations? He is doing so. Witherspoon is a monster. So good job.
That's a good
Seattle.
pick.
That's a good, yeah. Well, I guess basically the Broncos. It's the Broncos' fault. That's all the Broncos' fault. I am terrified because the Vikings blitz the crap out of all their opponents, and the Packers are not good against the blitz. So I'm terrified.
I saw that stat. Vikings.
Yep.
Oh, it was Johnny Barks,
Yep.
who's getting a 50 fucking minute video still, tweeted out the Vikings have blitzed 50 more times than any other team this season, something like that.
And I think like Jordan Love's like 29th or something. Like it could be a problem. It could be a problem. I actually, you know what, real quick before we get on out of here. I watched like 4 innings of baseball last night. I got my vids done. And I was like, I'm going to watch.
What?
I watched like 4 innings of baseball. And it was pretty good. But like, that's the only situation I'll watch. It's like game 7. Like, that's it. I'm like, okay, now I'll care about baseball for a hot minute. Because there's tension there. And then after that, I'm done. Then I'm done. But Perna did not give a crap about what I just said. That's fine.
Baseball's good. How dare you? How dare you even put Damari Mathis in Champs? Spear.
There you go.
I'll go to my grave. Champ Bailey, greatest NFL corner ever.
You just have to remember you have to watch. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Kraken won.
Yeah. After losing to the Avs last week. Oh, I wanted to talk. Dang, that was the last thing. We're already.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got time.
Bring it up. Come on.
Where is it? There it is.
Come on.
Dude. Okay. So I'm
also,
not.
if the Bills lose tomorrow night, like it's hit all the panic buttons in the history of panic.
Yeah.
By the way. We're probably gonna do that in like January.
Did you see the Nuggets championship rings, Tom?
Later. I did not see their championship rings.
I usually I'm of the opinion that most championship rings are gaudy and ugly. Like they're all too big. This one got double rings. These have a ring within a ring.
That's
so technically
cool.
2 rings. But like you got like the big flashy one, and then you got one I think is just a little more practical to wear. And I think it's just because like the Nuggets logo is kind of set up to look good in there. It's, they're gold miners, the Nuggets they are. And those rings were hot.
I know the new thing now is that it opens and there's like stuff inside. Like that's kind of the new thing that's like across all sports. So
they were the first rings, and I wasn't even thinking about them. I just saw them. I was like, I actually like those. Usually I'm like, God, those are so ugly.
They're so gaudy. Like they're so big. Yeah.
And I have, maybe because I have small hands, like if I put one on, it would just cover like my entire hand. I'd be like, ugh, how I can't even lift my hand. These things are so heavy. But them ones, those little nugget rings, hot. Also, suck it, Lakers and LeBron James. Oh, gonna come into Denver and prove to us that we were out of line saying that we were your daddy. Wrong. You guys got your ass kicked. Jokic had a triple-double to open the season. Suck it, Lakers fans. Not Lakers fans, Lakers. Suck. Well, actually, all of you suck it. Bow down to the Nuggets because we are still your paternal fathers.
So when like the Nuggets, like let's just say in a few years, like are not really doing well, are you ever going to bring up basketball ever again?
No, of course not.
Okay.
No.
I knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. All right. Well, Perna, what do you got coming out today, buddy?
2 hours, Johnny. 2-hour video coming your way.
I need to get him predictions first. I tried to get it before, and then my computer was having issues.
Don't
so-
worry. He doesn't.
got-
I'm not even giving him a video this week because
So what do you got coming out today, buddy?
power rankings.
Okay. Is it going to just be unhinged?
We'll see. I got to fix my curse wheel. It's still broken.
Oh, that's true.
If
It
power
would've been
rankings doesn't come out today, it's because I'm fixing the curse wheel.
it's him trying to lift up Molnir. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not going to work.
No, like the Broncos Super Bowl rings, their first two, I think they're ugly. Yeah. All right. What's
Is
that?
that a
What do you got,
replica or is that
Tom?
an
You
actual
got
one?
predictions? Is this a
Is that a
prediction
replica
day?
ring that you have there? Or is that an actual one? So
It's the Broncos.
Yeah, it's replica.
Yeah, probably.
I would
Those
assume
are
so.
ugly. Those are ugly as fuck.
Mm.
Like trying to do those horses and like jewels.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. That is difficult.
They look like weird birds, and you know how I feel about birds.
I do know how you feel about birds. I'll have predictions coming out today, and then AFC North's reaction to Week 8. The saga continues. We gonna rock. We gonna get it. Boom. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. We'll see you on Friday for another edition of GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you've reached your destination. Where are you? The Pro Football Hall of Fame, where Champ Bailey is a better corner than Dion.